What's up, Throttlers? Aristotle Full Throttle here, and Happy New Year. It is 2020, and boy, are there a bunch of movies coming out this year that I'm excited for. I want to hear about you. Let me know what movies you're excited for in the comments. This is a live stream. I'm probably going to do a live stream at least once a week in 2020. I'm going to try to do 52 live streams in 2020. That's my resolution. At least 52. 52. 42. 42 is the answer to the question to the universe, according to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Quiet Place Chapter 2. Will, welcome. Right off the bat, we've got Is This Will supporting the team. I know you've been a longtime follower, probably since I had like only a few subscribers. Right now, subscribers are growing a little bit slowly, but you guys can share these videos, like this live stream right away. Just go ahead and do that. I'll give you a second. Okay, you done? Okay, cool. So, thank you for liking the video and share it. And let your friends know. Just to do a little housekeeping. Gonna have a giveaway once I reach 10,000 subscribers. So let's get there. The way you do it is you subscribe to the channel and comment on as many videos as you can on my videos. Meaning, go back and watch my videos and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about whatever I'm talking about in that video. And guess what? That qualifies you to win a PS4 plus a game for the PS4. Not like Super Smash Brothers or something like that. But you can get that too. Maybe I'll get you an N64 game for the PS4. I don't know if they do that. I don't know if they're compatible. Compatibility is key. Hey, Kara Molud. I don't know how to say that last name. Is This Will? Hey, Twitter notifications coming through. That helps. Yes, I agree with you on that one. So I am excited. I'm going to talk about Star Wars. I've been thinking about The Rise of Skywalker this last week or so. I've only seen it once. And I've decided, much to the chagrin of my close friends who have seen it multiple times, I've decided that I'm never going to watch The Rise of Skywalker again. Fight me on it. I don't really feel the need to. I saw it. I had my experience. I remember it as being, what happened? It felt like a fast-forward checklist of fan service. So, believe it or not, I was satisfied with The Last Jedi as being the ending to the Skywalker saga. For me, that feels like a satisfying ending to the saga. It might be open-ended, but again, Empire Strikes Back is my favorite Star Wars movie, and that's open-ended, and it feels very satisfying, yet it's a downer. So I'm cool with The Last Jedi, and a lot of controversy about The Last Jedi. Here's my thoughts on The Last Jedi. People, I sound like Bill Cosby. I don't want to talk about inappropriate. Just want to say one of my favorite moments in comedy was a couple weeks ago when Eddie Murphy was hosting Saturday Night Live, and he called out Bill Cosby because Eddie Murphy is like now a wholesome dad, and Bill Cosby chastised Eddie Murphy in the 80s for using curse words. Talk about the pot calling the kettle rapist. All right, let's see. I'm not going to dwell. So, Will, yeah, I understand that there's a lot of fans out there that are really supporting. See, the thing is, I just don't want to give Disney my $20 again. I'm going to wait till Disney Plus. Maybe I'll watch The Rise of Skywalker again. Maybe if I'm in some weird mood and I want to watch that movie again. I can't do it. I can't bring myself to pay Disney money to reward them for what I felt was like an ultra subpar effort. There were a couple moments where I went like this. This is me watching The Rise of Skywalker. About like 20 minutes of that, and then, ha! And then like 20 more minutes, and then, That was not a joyful experience for me. It was a mediocre at best. Turns out The Force Awakens, the visual dictionary, explains every plot hole. Will, I love you. You're a longtime throttler. I don't want to have to read books to go see a movie. If you're stoned, you will watch it. Kara, perhaps. It was like Fast and Furious, but The end was okay. Also, my favorite Star Wars movie is the original. Carl Malad says her favorite Star Wars, or his favorite, or their favorite. I don't know. I don't know what you prefer to be called, Cara, but Star Wars, the original one. Fair enough. It is one of the most incredible movies ever made. It was a punctuated equilibrium, to use an evolutionary term, of great value in the cinematic history. Because if you think about movies before that, they're different than movies post Star Wars. So that is a valid favorite Star Wars movie for sure. If your favorite Star Wars movie is Episode 2, we're gonna have to have a little talk. All right. Yeah, that was the problem with the Rise of Skywalker. Sometimes people were laughing at the wrong times, particularly the time at the end where there was the awkward kiss between Kylo Ren and Rey, and I was like, no, okay, maybe, I don't know, something happened, surprising, yet not totally surprising. They had some kind of connection, and then he's dead. He just keels over. He's like, I'm dead now. Yeah. Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker was, hey, we're right here, now we're over here now, and the Emperor's back, no big surprise. Now we're not gonna explain that. No, we're over here now. Now we're over here now. Now we're over here now. And guess what? She's got to be somebody. She can't be nobody. Talking about Rey. Yeah, I do value my time. Okay, Cara, I prefer to be called his, him, or he. Well, him said that him liked him was Fast and Furious, but it was okay. See, okay, that's cool. Fast and Furious, it's great. I will argue with people about The Rise of Skywalker versus The Last Jedi. People don't like The Last Jedi, but it is a better movie. It is a better movie in many ways. People don't like what happens in the movie, but the movie is superior cinematically. That is my opinion, obviously. These are all my opinions, but I can defend them. I will back them up all day. And if you have an opinion that's contrasting to mine, I invite you to put it in the comments, because I like to talk about these things. I like to hear why people like things, and I like to tell them why they're wrong. All right, so thank you for the likes. Remember, guys, you can like this video at any time. I prefer that you do. I appreciate it. Of course, I love you guys for coming and joining me. This is my first of hopefully 52 live streams this year. And I wanted to talk about the movies this year that are coming up. And I know A Quiet Place Chapter 2 has Will's full attention. I am excited about A Quieter Place. I really did enjoy A Quiet Place. I think that movie is kind of like kicked off the weird, okay, we can't make a sound, and okay, we can't look at anything with, the Bird Box. And now, okay, we can't, everybody's blind with the movie C on Apple TV. Or, I literally saw a preview on Netflix. I think Netflix makes their movies via algorithm. I think they they shake up a bunch of different plot points, and then they pay to make that movie, because they know at any given time, any given hour of the day, someone's going to be searching through Netflix and go, oh, a movie when nobody can smell. Let me watch that. So I literally saw a movie on Netflix about the smells and the power of smell overpowering, which is a very difficult thing to convey in film. I get why you can do quiet, and I get why you can do blind, but smell-o-vision isn't quite there yet. Although I did see Star Wars: The Last Jedi in 4DX, and I highly recommend an experience in 4DX. It's pretty cool. Let's see. Episode 4 rocked my world as a kid. Yeah, Episode 4, I got to tell you a funny story about Episode 4. A New Hope, which was later named A New Hope in 1979. When I was very young, but a wee child, but with just a wee fro, my older brothers, I have two older brothers, they were watching Star Wars on TV, and I didn't know anything about Star Wars. It's the original Star Wars, and they were like, dude, it's going to be, well, they didn't say dude, but they were like, it's going to be amazing. You're going to watch this movie, and there's a really fantastical space battle at the end. And I'm a kid. I'm like 4 or 5 years old watching it on TV. And I just see these robots, which I thought were cool, but they were walking through the desert. So as a kid, up at like 8 or 9 o'clock. I'm falling asleep watching robots walk through the desert for about 45 minutes. And my brothers are like shaking me awake. They're like, stay awake. At the end, there's an amazing space battle. Sadly, I never made it to the end. So I think that's why that movie falls a little short for me compared to The Empire Strikes Back, because The Empire Strikes Back, right off the bat, you're fighting these big walkers in the snow and using lightsabers and mental mind tricks and stuff like that. So, love Star Wars A New Hope as an adult. As a kid, I fell asleep watching the robots walk through the desert. Yeah, people were cheering at the kiss in The Rise of Skywalker. I thought that was I was like, okay, I was fine with it actually. Surprisingly, I did not hate that. Rian Johnson acquits himself with Knives Out. Listen, Rian Johnson is a great filmmaker. I can't think of a bad movie he's made. People don't like his Star Wars movie, but I don't think it's a bad movie. Again, he's a great filmmaker. And controversially, J.J. Abrams is not a filmmaker. In my opinion, these are all my opinion. All opinions are my own, even yours. J.J. Abrams is not he's not a filmmaker. He's just not. He's a great writer. He's a great producer. He's directed some movies that are okay, but he's not a filmmaker. He's not a filmmaker by nature. He's a TV guy. Lost was pretty great. He did a lot of good TV stuff. He's good setting of things up. He's good at rebooting things. Star Trek, Star Wars, soon to be the DCEU. So JJ is really good at kind of pushing things marketably in a good direction, but he's not good at making films. And I know that's controversial, but I watched the first Star Trek that he did, 2009, and it's good. I like it, and it's pretty good. However, he does all sorts of terrible things to the Star Trek universe, like introducing transwarp beaming. Because in the second movie, Into Darkness, I'm just like, this movie, I watch the thing from beginning to end. I will watch it every time it's on. However, I do not like it. I will get to the end of Into Darkness and go, that was bad. It's bad for many reasons. It doesn't make any sense. The Rise of Skywalker is a 5 out of 10. The Last Jedi is a 6.5 out of 10. Fair. Streams. There's a Julianne Moore movie about sense of smell. Yes, I did see that. Yeah, it's basically Ishtar. Yeah. Star Wars, based on Ishtar. If you like the desert and roaming through the desert, Star Wars. Fell asleep during Empire Cloud City. I could see that happening for sure. But, when it kicks in, when Luke says, I gotta save my friends, and then he shows up and then he prematurely takes out the lightsaber to face Vader, I just go, ooh, that's a bad move, son. That you shouldn't even try that. And Vader's like, I'm just toying with you this whole time. I love Empire. Love that movie. I could talk about that for 10 live streams. I have friends who didn't like Brick, Looper, so Knives Out is being able to get them through impressed me. Okay, that's fair. I really liked Looper. I thought it was such a cool... We're talking about Rian Johnson, writer-director of The Last Jedi. He wrote and directed Looper. I thought it was pretty cool because one of the things I liked about that is that it dealt with time travel. And not only did it deal with time travel, he just introduces another sci-fi thing with telekinesis. So there's something about him pushing a genre of sci-fi in a direction that is not expected that I enjoyed about that. Also, Bruce Willis, he was always I'm Bruce Willis. And then you had, what's his name, try to be Bruce Willis. And they're both Bruce Willises. One of my favorite lines from Looper is when Jeff Daniels is talking to the young Bruce Willis. And the young guy's like, I want to go to France. Jeff Daniels, he's from the future. He's a crime boss from the future. And he's talking to him. He's like, he's like, listen, go to China. And then he's like, no, I want to go to France. I'm going to Paris. I'm learning French. Jeff Daniels is like, go to China. And he says, no, I'm going to go to France. He's like, I'm from the future. You're going to want to go to China. I love that moment. It's very funny. What if Yoda trained Luke and Leia and Ryan Johnson made a good film, but Star Wars film that is 1 out of 3 of a good movie, 1/3 of a good movie. I fell asleep during the Ewoks. I ain't got no quarrel with no Ewok. I like the Ewoks. I liked the Ewoks because I saw them at the right age, I think. I saw them when I was but a wee Ewok myself, with my own fro. So what else do we got coming out this year? Top Gun Maverick. Again, pushing this nostalgia button. Speaking of Rise of Skywalker and just pushing nostalgia buttons, we've got Top Gun Maverick coming out, which looks cool. I have enjoyed every trailer that I've seen of that so far. Looks exciting, feels like the natural sequel to Top Gun. I hope that he feels the need for speed in this one. Loop was solid. Yeah, the face makeup was it was a little bit distracting, but I got used to it after a while. The part casting took me out of the the I would also agree with you, Will, that I would make the case that the climax of the Last Jedi is the best in the series. I lost my mind. I still do. I still watch the last 45 minutes of the Last Jedi because it gives us so many great moments. Luke and Yoda back together, talking about the sacred Jedi texts and also other things. But the back-to-back Kylo Ren and Rey fight scene, which is just brilliant. I like that he just offs Snoke. I was genuinely surprised by that in the theater. I like that Kylo Ren doesn't turn good. He's like, listen, here's our chance to seize power. Let's do it. Makes sense. Makes sense for his character. Because Kylo Ren needs Rey. Kylo Ren is not, obviously we find out they're a dyad in the Force, but whatever. But Kylo Ren needs Rey and knows that. He knows he's not more powerful than her. So that was a great moment. But again, one of the best moments is Luke showing up at the last survivors of the rebellion and walks through those blast gates to face an army on his own. And they fire on him and he doesn't care. It's a very Captain America moment from Endgame. Yeah, who knows about Maverick? It could be a huge strikeout, but I like the actors in it, and I like the tone it's setting in the trailers. Black Widow movie. Kara, I agree with him. Black Widow movie is coming out, and the future, I know I'm talking about the future of Star Wars right now, and I just want to state that my preferred timeline for Star Wars starts chronologically in the time sequence of all of the Star Wars movies, starts with Rogue One and ends with The Last Jedi. And those are the bookends. And that also includes The Mandalorian, which takes place after Return of the Jedi. So that, to me, is all I need. I can kind of just push everything else to the side. People keep telling me to go see the Clone Wars and watch that. But as soon as I see Yoda pull out a lightsaber and start doing backflips, I'm out. And about 5 minutes into the first episode of Clone Wars, Yoda did that. So I was out. Black Widow movie, I'm also excited for. So we're just talking about that. The future of Marvel is, I felt so satisfied with the ending of Endgame that I don't know what else more I need from Marvel at this moment. But looking at the trailer for Black Widow, I got pretty excited. I actually watched part of Endgame last night and watched Black Widow meet her fate. Very sad about it. Great sequence, by the way. You don't know who's going to get tossed when they're on Vormir. Whether it's going to be Hawkeye or Black Widow, and ultimately it's Black Widow. Very sad. Somebody has to sacrifice themselves in order to get the Soul Stone. Let's see. Will thinks that Tom Cruise wanted to fly a jet on his own, and that's why they made the movie. I wouldn't be surprised. Tom Cruise does a lot of stunts where we're like, "Oh, Tom Cruise, you're doing your own stunts. Nobody asked you to, but okay, cool." So if you see Tom Cruise hanging off the side of a jet, Probably hanging off of the side of a jet. Although I agree with a lot of the special effects artists that say in Mission Impossible Fallout, when he falls out the plane, I think it's I don't know which one it is, but it's the last Mission Impossible where he jumps out the plane and he's like falling, and it's actually Tom Cruise, the camera on him skydiving, but then they superimpose all of these clouds around him with lightning, and you're just like, well, what's the point? You could have just put him on a soundstage and hung him from a string and filmed that. Why not just show the actual sky, no matter what? Didn't make any sense. Yoda Jitsu. Yeah, I'm not into the Yoda Jitsu. I can't. It's too much. It's too much. He's a frail old guy. Size matters not. He uses his power to lift X-Wings out of water. He's Yoda, for heaven's sake. He don't need no stinking lightsaber. That's like freaking... Neither did the Emperor. I could go on. Just dumb. The Emperor didn't need a lightsaber. He's too powerful. Black Widow looks fun. Just watched Marvel produced hype video that mentioned, the Shang-Chi. Interesting. That'll be interesting to see a quasi prequel to, I guess, the Avengers. What do you think? The ending just skipped the first season of Clone Wars, and the other ones way better don't have Yoda with a lightsaber. Oh, well, okay. Thank you for the recommendation. I will check that out. Maybe my timeline will start with the second season of Clone Wars but then that includes Solo. And I could do without Solo. I think most people could. We've got Disney's Mulan coming out, the live action. Disney being smart by taking properties that are public domain and doing them over and over again. Very smart. Very smart investment because they don't have to pay for the intellectual property, and then they could make lots of money off that. I commend you. Birds of Prey. I don't know what you guys think about Birds of Prey. Do you like Harley Quinn? Do you think she is worthy of her own movie? Let me know. I want to see. I'm going to wait here until you guys start commenting about that. My personal opinion is, I think it's pretty cool that we live in an age where we go, oh, well, Suicide Squad didn't work. Let's just try again. Let's just try again. Oh, Spider-Man didn't work. Let's do it again. Very short attention span. I like Harley Quinn. I like Margot Robbie. However, Harley Quinn, and I get it, she's intentionally annoying. Hopefully, there's more of a charismatic appeal to her in Birds of Prey. Let's see. Tom Cruise makes decent sci-fi movies. I talked about this on the channel before. I think Tom Cruise movies are interesting because I like the movies more than I like Tom Cruise. If you said Tom Cruise is in a movie, I don't really care. But if you tell me the premise of that movie, usually he's in movies where I'm like, oh, that sounds like a cool premise. So it's interesting that he is a guy that can kind of carry... I think the movie carries Tom Cruise more than Tom Cruise carries the movie. Never saw The King and I, Mulan, so handle Hero of the House of Flying Daggers. I don't know what that is. Yeah, Birds of Prey, I'm gonna wait and see. I like Ewan McGregor. I like Margot Robbie. But is that enough for me to go out and see the movie? I don't know. Maybe I'll wait till that comes on whatever Warner Brothers streaming service comes out. Speaking of Warner Brothers, Wonder Woman is coming out. And if you see Wonder Woman coming, Warner Brother. That movie, 1984, I actually genuinely laughed a lot during the trailer. I love the moment where Steve is like, oh, look at this. And she's like, that's just a trash can. He's like, oh, this is just a trash can. Okay. He doesn't understand art, apparently, because he's a fish out of water. Somehow he gets resurrected. I guess he's back in the timeline. And she doesn't age. I guess when you're dealing with gods and all that stuff, you can suspend your disbelief on that. I do like Wonder Woman. She's one of my favorite heroes of all time. Heroine. And genuinely excited to see that. I think the director is really good. And Gal Gadot has proven to be the best of the DC crew. Let's see. A Harley movie in Joker style. That would be interesting. Maybe Joaquin can do that as the sequel. You guys think that there's going to be a sequel to Joker? What do you think? I actually have the screener for Joker, which I'm excited to watch again. I don't know. I think it's a one-off situation with Joker, with Joaquin. I think he did a brilliant job. Definitely think he's going to get nominated for lots of awards, and I look forward to seeing him win about 2 of them. I think that there's going to be a tough competition this year between Adam Driver in Marriage Story and Joaquin in Joker. I think it might go to Adam Driver. I think people have their eye on Adam Driver as being probably, he might just be the best actor of his generation, because he might, Marriage Story evokes a lot of visceral emotion. Joker does too, but I don't know if it gets to that level. Adam Driver, best thing about the new Star Wars trilogy, hands down. Best thing about The Rise of Skywalker. I liked the character of Kylo Ren the whole time. I liked that he was always bugging out, flipping out, twitchy, and then when he turned back into Ben Solo, got redeemed, he was like totally chill and zen. He was not fighting himself anymore. Hero with Jet Li, that's a good one, yeah. Steve Roger Trevor. Yeah, Steve Rogers Trevor. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think they're going to make a sequel to Joker. But again, Joker made $1 billion. And do you know what Warner Brothers likes better than $1 billion? $2 billion. So they might just do it. Let's talk about the state of Star Wars and the future of it. Because Disney, I think, just kind of whiffed and failed. I know I'm jumping around here, but Disney, come on. This new trilogy, no matter how you slice it, had no connectivity. All it did was fight itself. And I liked the idea that The Last Jedi undid a lot of The Force Awakens, but really expanded upon the characters themselves and expanded upon the story and made it more important that we realize that it doesn't matter where you come from, because you can overcome evil if you have good inside of you. It doesn't matter. It's a much better message than I think The Rise of Skywalker made, which The Rise of Skywalker was just reactionary to The Last Jedi because Disney cannot handle controversy. Literally, they said that. Apparently, there's all these leaks out right now that JJ was fighting with the studio a lot. And I believe it. I believe that JJ, because he took the $500 million deal to go redevelop the DCEU, which is technically in direct opposition to Disney because Disney owns Marvel. Marvel basically tried to sabotage the new Star Wars, but they saw that JJ's foot was out the door, so they tried to seize a little bit more control, I think, over Star Wars. And it shows on screen. I'm just going to say it. I looked at that movie and I just said, this looks like a corporate mess. Kylo, death sticks. Yeah, too many death sticks. I'm going to go home and rethink my life. That is a good line, actually. That's my favorite part, I think, of episode 2. Let's see. Of course, that's the death stick scene with the dude from The Matrix. If I remember the guy with The Matrix, the kid, where he squeal or whatever his name is, Mouse. So Star Wars, I think they're going to take a good needed break. I'm looking forward to Mandalorian Season 2. I thought the last 3 episodes of Mandalorian were fantastic, especially the one directed by Taika Waititi. A lot of people... I just love Taika's style. I think it's really important to have levity because that levity makes the drama that much more important. Because if we get introduced to characters and we actually take a shine to them and they're charming and funny in a way, we don't want to see anything bad happen to them. We only got about an episode and a little bit more than an episode of Moff Gideon, Gus Fring, the Dark Jedi or whatever he is, but he had a Darksaber. I thought that was cool to see a live action Darksaber. I was excited about that. I knew he wasn't going to go out like a punk in that little TIE fighter and crash. He's going to be a bad guy all season 2, I bet. And maybe we'll see some lightsaber duels by season 3 of Mandalorian. I don't think quite yet. Warner Brothers trying to keep directors in the fold. Yeah, Warner Brothers. Speaking of Warner Brothers, I think there is a new. I know that Christopher Nolan has got a new movie coming out, and I know he usually works with Warner Brothers. I'm not sure if Tenet is a Warner Brothers film or not, but I have my theories and speculation about Tenet. My favorite thing about Christopher Nolan is that he is the only director. He's the only filmmaker, actual filmmaker. I talked about friggin' J.J. Abrams not being a filmmaker. I talked about Rian Johnson being a legit filmmaker. And you could just compare movie history and movie language and how they speak it between Rian Johnson and J.J. Abrams. But also, I think Christopher Nolan is the best, one of the best filmmakers, true filmmakers out there today. Big Hollywood budget filmmakers. Because guess what? Guess what? I got a fever. All right. Christopher Nolan has created movies that are original ideas that are hundreds of millions of dollars and make hundreds of millions of dollars. Christopher Nolan is the only dude today who can do that, who writes an original movie and we'll go see it. Because if you think about Interstellar, if you think about even going back, I mean, the Batman trilogy obviously was an existing property, but he took it and brought it into the real world, which we'd never seen before. And besides the Batman trilogy, he had The Prestige, good movie based on a book, but I read the book, and the last third of the book and the movie completely diverge. So I give him credit for that. But if you think of Interstellar and his last few movies, I know that Dunkirk is based on a true story. The dude has the ability to end Inception. That's the one with the bois. Tenet looks good. And the cool thing about Tenet is the word itself is a palindrome. So I'm pretty sure, because the way the trailer sets things up is that things happen and then they unhappen. I'm excited to see how they play with that. I like little baby Denzel Washington in the movie. What's his name? Smaller Washington half pint. Small. He's short. I'm making fun of his height. He can't help that, but I can make fun of it. The shorter Washington is the lead in it. I like it. I think he's good. I think he's a good actor. And there's a lot of interesting things. So they're showing things happen and then reversing, and they're able to see things in a different time frame. I'm convinced that the movie itself is going to go to about the midpoint and then reverse. And I think if there's any filmmaker out there today that can do that convincingly and effectively and impressively, it's Christopher Nolan. Think Inception, think Memento. Think about how they're layered and how he's able to create stuff like that. I'm interested in seeing Christopher Nolan execute a movie that has never been executed before. He's pretty good at that. Nolan is very thorough, and that's the thing that I think that's why The Dark Knight Rises fell a little bit short, because you can tell that Nolan did not plan for that third movie. He wanted the Joker and Batman to have an even bigger face-off with, different rogues and different heroes, I'm sure. But what happened is, unfortunately, Heath Ledger died, so they had to redesign that movie. And I think The Rise of Skywalker falls into that category too, because Carrie Fisher died. And I'm convinced that they originally planned on making the third movie, The Rise of Skywalker, all about how Carrie Fisher redeems Kylo Ren. Which it kind of is about, but it could have been a lot more structured around that dynamic had Carrie Fisher survived. What do you guys think about Christopher Nolan? Oh, is this your movie ranking? Let's see. Star Wars, okay. Empire Strikes Back. Force Awakens, number 3. Okay. Solo, number 4. Solo, it's not bad. I didn't love it. It's not Not bad though in any way. Last Jedi, pretty cool. Rise of Skywalker, Return of the Jedi, Rogue One, Revenge of the Sith, 9, Phantom Menace, and the last one, Clone Wars, or Attack of the Clones. But I get what you're saying there. Attack of the Clones is definitely the last in the list. There's some cool things. For better or for worse, George Lucas, being in charge of the Star Wars movies, was able to make new ideas, but bad movies featuring new ideas. Yeah, Joker and Leia sadly left us too soon narratively, yes. However, even though they left, and even though it feels like you've got 2 movies leading up to a 3rd movie that should have had the Joker or should have had Princess Leia or Carrie Fisher have a more fleshed out role, writing and good writers can save anything. So when people say that The Last Jedi gave JJ nothing to work with, I call BS. Listen, JJ and the studio at Disney decided to try to undo everything about The Last Jedi when they could have added to it or created an entirely new compelling story that includes the previous 2 movies in the trilogy. They didn't do that. They were reactionary. For better or for worse, George Lucas always just followed his vision and continued on with his vision and created pretty cohesive universe. Except Disney was like, let's take the temperature of the audience and figure out how to make a movie by committee instead of hiring filmmakers like Rian Johnson to make a movie that is original. And to me, I think perhaps right now people are angry at The Last Jedi, but history might undo that. History might show, in retrospect, that The Last Jedi is up there as far as Star Wars movies go. Going to take a look at some of these other previews for this year. Movies 2020. All right, Top Gun Maverick, we talked about that. Bad Boys for Life. It looks fun. Listen, I'm not sure Michael Bay is directing that one, but it just looks fun. And what do we like to do at the movies? We like to have fun. What happened at The Rise of Skywalker? Not much. It was a pretty joyless experience. Can't talk about this. Can't talk about Movies 2020 without talking about Ghostbusters. I'm excited for Ghostbusters. I've always loved Ghostbusters. I think it's a ridiculous premise to begin with, and that's why it works. It's fun. It's ridiculous. It's actually genuinely spooky, which, there's ghosts involved. I was actually creeped out by Ghostbusters as a kid. And the new Ghostbusters looks like it's going to be more about, at least the way they're marketing it right now, more about the creepy factor and the Stranger Things /It factor because of Wolfhard being in all of those things, really. Yeah, the 3rd of the Chronicles. Yeah. Are you talking about the Chronicles of Riddick? Or the Chronicles of Narnia? The Chronicles of Narnia. Palpatine sucked the life out of Rey, and Kylo, Baby Yoda walks in and kills Palpatine. End of him. Yeah, Baby Yoda with his little baby hand. Doing some baby murder on the Emperor. I'd love to see that. Red should be good. The kiddos, yeah. The kiddos, we'll see if they're funny. I have faith that Jason Reitman is a good director of teens. Look at Juno. It was kind of a teen world that takes place in, even though I think they're all like 27. But Ellen Page and Michael Cera and whoever. I have faith in Jason Reitman making his own version of Ghostbusters. I'm excited to see that. I think that he's got the right guidance there. His father produced the movie and is on set the whole time. And that can't be a bad thing when you're making a Ghostbusters movie. Michael B. Jordan and Dane DeHaan. Oh, Chronicle, that's right. Yeah. I never saw the sequel to Chronicle. But Chronicle was pretty interesting. I like the idea of people just, oh, wow, we have this magical power from a space rock. Let's just cause havoc because we can, and we're kids. And of course, that's what you would do if you had all the power. Sonic the Hedgehog. Who's excited for that? I'm actually pretty excited. It looks pretty fun. I don't mind it. Looks like a fun time at the movies. Jim Carrey looks like he's on point. I like Jim Carrey being a villain. In a Jim Carrey fashion, being Dr. Robotnik. Oh, yeah. You want to talk about cats, don't you? All right. I was in my high school theater troupe. And when I would go to my curtain call for the opening night and they'd do the makeup, people would sit around and listen to Broadway show tunes. Now listen, I was in these things. I was in musicals. I sang and danced on stage and I acted and all that stuff in high school. So I just did it because I'm pretty sure they just needed guys because it was like 95% women. And I was like, that seems like good odds to me. So I joined the high school musicals and people would listen to this music and I'd say to them, I'd go, what is happening? What kind of music is this? And they'd be like, it's from Cats, or it's from Phantom of the Opera, or it's from Les Mis. And I'd say, there's actually good music you can listen to. They didn't like that none too much. But, I think that Lin-Manuel Miranda is the only guy today, at least, who's creating good, accessible, modern music and putting it into musicals. I don't think it's ever happened before. Maybe the Book of Mormon, I thought it was funny, but they took the funny angle. The cool thing about Hamilton by Lin-Manuel Miranda and In the Heights is that the music is actually catchy, it's actually modern, and the themes are catchy, and the stories are good. But Cats is just that. It's herding cats. It's just a mess. It's a complete, ridiculous, unironic shit show of just ridiculousness. I didn't know what was going on, nor did I care. I just felt very disturbed. And if they said the word jellicle one more time, I swear to I was gonna probably stick my head in a bucket of popcorn and drown myself. So, Cats, you got Dame Judi Dench and Sir Ian McKellen, and I gotta say, much preferred their production of Macbeth. Recommend that over Cats if you're gonna watch the two of them act. However, they're really good in this because guess what? They're always really good. You can put all of these people in this movie. You could create all of the weird special effects you can about cats being jellicle, and I'm never explaining what even jellicle means. They're just like, you're jellicle. You're gonna be I'm gonna pick a jellicle cat by the end of the day, and then Idris Elba shows up and he's like, I have magical powers. And you go, okay, wait. So there's cats, there's no people, but they live in a city with no people. It was just very confusing and sad. And mostly disturbing. However, Jennifer Hudson is an angel. She's jellicle. She's incredibly good at singing. She should have a career at singing. I'm actually very excited to see Jennifer Hudson portraying Aretha Franklin in Aretha coming out this year. That seems to be, if you're going to have someone who's going to be able to sing like Aretha, you're going to have J-Hud do that. She's amazing. She does have a lot of cry snot coming out of her face, and someone could have given her tissue, or the CG artists spending so much money creating weird moving fur and bizarre moving faces in the uncanny valley. They could have erased some of that snot. It's fine a little bit, maybe just a little drip, but she was very emotional. Yeah, I don't do musicals very well either, Will. I totally agree with you. Yeah, the funny thing is, I saw Cats because it was almost like an experiment of tolerance to see how long I could take it. And, I gotta say that the beer and french fries helped. That was really the alluring factor. It was at an Alamo Draft House, so that was much fun. Dr. Dolittle, so a preview for Dr. Dolittle. Looks good. Looks amazing. You know, what is Tony Stark going to do after Marvel? And this looks like a really worthy follow-up. I heard the title Dr. Dolittle. I saw RDJ dressed up like Dr. Dolittle, and I was just like, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know about... So the preview changed my mind. Very excited for that. I have to say, the movie that I'm probably most excited about this year, I'd like to see if you guys could take a guess. If you could take a guess, I'm going to go on to the next movie. But I'll tell you the movie that I'm most excited for, and you guys can keep guessing in the chat until I see it. And when I see it, I will confirm and not deny it. Halloween Kills is coming out. The follow-up to Halloween. You've got Jamie Lee Curtis in that. Coming to America 2. It's been 30 years. I tried to watch Coming to America again last year. The jokes are pretty slow. It was very funny when I was a kid. Still amazing performances. Multiple performances by Eddie Murphy as multiple characters. It's a little bit slow compared to today's standards. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they follow that up in the modern version. Hopefully to be as funny as I remember Coming to America being when I first saw it. It's not Black Widow. Yeah, there was a snot cry in Cats. Cats was just, come on now. I just went for the whole, going to see Cats, I recommend it because I thought it was ridiculous. The Call of the Wild with Harrison Ford. Why couldn't, if you've seen the preview for this, there's a dog and it's just completely CG for the whole movie. And I'm like, why didn't they just use a real dog? Don't know why. I guess it's, I can't be convinced that it was easier to animate a dog for an entire movie than it would be to just, hey, here, Fido, here's a little bacos, here's little bacon bits, here's a little sausage in my hand. Why don't you come run over and go in this direction or walk in that direction or bark? Because that's all I need from a dog actor. Because it's all about the people around the dog. The dog is never the thing. Let's see. You guys are still don't see it yet. Start naming some movies. Air Bud 11. Still got to catch up on the Air Buds. Been a while. That's basically what Call of the Wild looks like. Air Bud 11. There is a very particular movie that is coming out. It's a sequel, I'll give you that. And it's a movie that has characters that I've been following my entire life. So I'm very excited to see them back on the screen in the most ridiculous fashion, I'm sure. Fast and Furious 9. I gotta still watch 8. I have like 8 to go before I watch Fast and Furious 9. I have a friend in Fast and Furious, actually, a friend of mine. He gets killed. That's all I know. So I should probably watch that movie. Harrison Ford cannot refuse to work with dogs because Chewie is his best friend. Maybe he'd ruin long hair. He wants a non-shedding breed of Wookiee. And Chewbacca's the only one left. I have to say, my favorite part of Rise of Skywalker was when Chewbacca got his medal. And that had nothing to do with the movie. It had nothing to do with anything other than, hey, audience, remember Chewbacca didn't win a medal in the first Star Wars movie? That's all it did, was just go, oh, let's undo that. Let's fix that. Pretty sure that the new Star Wars Rise of Skywalker was written and directed by Reddit. Ooh, The Invisible Man's coming out. Not sure I'm that excited to see that. Artemis Fowl. Is that some kind of Harry Potter stuff? I don't know what that is. Dune. Yeah, Denis Villeneuve's Dune. Okay, I'm excited to see that because I read the book. Indiana Jones. I'm not excited to see Indiana Jones. But I did read the book for Dune, Frank Herbert. And it is spectacular. I recommend that book. So many layers to it. It's got an entire glossary in the back of terms. So while you're reading it, you have to keep looking up words until you're actually fluent in what they're saying. So about halfway through the book, you're actually understanding complete like random jargon. But it's not random. It's actually chosen specifically. What if Han's old metal abs? Let's see. Yeah, Ben's dead, so I guess Chewbacca gets the medal. So I'm going to be wrapping up in the next 5 to 10 minutes. I don't see a guess yet for which movie I'm excited to see. If you'd like a hint, let me know. If you're watching this, just give the video a like. Remember to share these videos. Remember to go back and look at all of my other videos, comment on them, because that'll qualify you to win a PS4 plus a game of your choosing. So do that. The more comments you make, the more likely you'll be in the running to win. So if you made the most comments on the channel, I'd be like, well, obviously it's got to go to this person. But if you don't do it at all, then you don't have a chance. So comment as much as possible, and I will take from the top amount of commenters and choose my winner that way. So comment away. It's pretty easy. You can be like, that was funny, or whatever you like. Dr. Dolittle, New Mutants, not quite sure if that's ever going to come out. Underwater. Interesting. Future of Star Wars, not sure what they're going to do. I think they should take a break from Star Wars and not really do anything. Just maybe make us wait till The Mandalorian next year. I'm fine with waiting. Big Trouble in Little China sequel. Ooh, that's good. Jumanji is already out. I'm excited to see a sequel for that for sure, because Kurt Russell, man, he's still mainstream. What was he just in? Guardians 2? He was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Good in that too. Doctor Strange 2. Haven't seen that. It's like what the Multiverse of Madness. Haven't seen any more information on that. Don't know what to think yet. But that's still not the sequel that I'm looking forward to most in 2020. I'll give you a hint. There are 2 title characters in this sequel. And it looks like there's going to be a lot of return surprise guests, because it's just an outlandish, ridiculous premise to begin with. Matrix 4 is happening in a year and a half, actually. So that's also a hint. Matrix 4 and John Wick 4. John Wick 4 and Matrix 4 come out on the same day in 2021. So I'll be talking about that 1 year from today. The Rock Stars, it's a sequel, not a reboot. Yeah, the Jumanji is a sequel to the original, which is kind of a reboot, but they're both based on a game, a board game. So sequel, reboot, whatever you like. Blank and blank. You're getting closer, Will. Blank and blank. Tango and Cash. That's the answer. That's not the answer. We're getting close. Blank and blank. Blank the blank. Tango and Cash 2. I'm going to say it's blank and blank. Blank the blank. If you can get that, I'll give you a high five. Hansel and Gretel. Maybe. It's not, though. What other things disturbed me about cats? The fact that their hair kept growing on their hands and disappearing. Big Trouble in Little China is a sequel, but that's not the movie I'm thinking about, that I'm looking forward to most this year. Me particularly, because I truly believe you can save the universe with music. And I only know 2 other people who share that credo. 2 other people who are highly influential on me. I've got guitars and stuff back there. You can see. Those are, let's see. Nobody's guessed it yet. Cheech and Chong. That's the closest guess so far. If you can, if you could sort of make another connection, who were sort of the next Cheech and Chong? So you had Cheech and Chong in the 70s, and then who'd you have in the 80s and early 90s? I think you can get this. This is the third movie in this series. Blank and blank, blank the blank. Bill and Ted. That's absolutely right. I am excited mostly for the Bill and Ted sequel because I've seen some stills from it, and it looks like Death is back. And he's one of the funniest characters. I hope Station comes back. Sadly, Rufus cannot come back, but maybe he can come back as Pam Grier, as he did in Bill and Ted's 2. You never know. Maybe Pam Grier will be him just in a Pam Grier suit. I'd be okay with that. Yeah, it was pretty obvious there, Will. I don't know why it took you so long. What are you doing there? You falling asleep at the keyboard? Come on, keep up. Bill and Ted Face the Music. I'm excited about that because Bill and Ted are two of my favorite characters, and I love the fact that they're coming back. And Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves is still so beloved that the fact that he's like, yeah, I'll do another Bill and Ted movie. It's a really cool thing. Who would have thought? They were like, let's cash in. Let's do a cash grab on this nostalgia culture. It's fine. I'm totally fine. I do want to talk about nostalgia culture in another video later on, probably within the next couple of weeks, about why nostalgia culture exists, particularly with movies starting around, give or take a few years, 1980. And I do believe it is because of the advent of VHS and home video, because people were able to watch these movies over and over again at home. It just really ingrained in their memory and ingrained in the culture and became such a part of pop culture that we keep repeating certain tropes. And it's very comforting to us as adults to rewatch and relive these moments that we felt for the first time as kids. I want to know what you guys think about that. Let me know in the comments below. Definitely subscribe to this channel. Please do that. Share this with your friends, your family. I have a Patreon. If you can contribute to the Patreon, $1, $2, $5, $10 a month, that would actually like keep food in my belly. Actually, I like food. I like to eat it almost every day. So if you guys could do that, I would be eternally grateful. Thank you guys for watching. This is always fun hanging out with you guys, and I'm going to do about 52 of these during the year, very frequently. So we're going to have a one-on-one or a one-on-many conversation. Yeah, sorry, Will, you had so many hints and you blow it. I mean, but you still got it right. Yeah, John Wick, Matrix. Feeling iffy about Matrix 4, but we'll talk about that next year. And I'll be back next week talking about more stuff. I'll probably make another video, a proper video, instead of a live stream coming up this week. Very excited to be talking to you guys one-on-one. And what else? Did I remember everything? I think so. Just getting over a cold, so I'm probably going to go pass out and sleep for the next 3 hours. But thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Kara. Thank you, Will. Thank you, Mr. Medina. I don't even know if Medina was here, but thank you anyway. Which movie? VHS, cable, and heavy syndication TV. Absolutely. Those are the reasons why we need the repeat in our brain. We need to watch the same thing over and over again because it was so comforting to us as a kid. It's familiarity, it's nostalgia, it's the culture that we live in. Well, thank you guys for watching. I'm at Aristotle Full Throttle, your bro in the know at the fro, and I'll see you later. And I will see you later.